Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is a continuation of yesterday's topic, and I've received a bunch more guidance today. One of which was a bumper sticker that said "Love Hurts," and in the back of that car, like I could see through the rear window, there were voodoo dolls. And I understood immediately that that refers to an ex using black magic against us, or having used black magic against us, having thrown us those kind of dark energies. And that's what we're currently in the process of breaking. And then I was given a whole bunch more guidance. So we're dealing with being seen as a trophy. And this, at first, the guidance seemed more just geared towards my gender, but I feel it can refer to anyone, because men as much as women can be used as a trophy, maybe in a slightly different way, but nevertheless, being used as a trophy, as a status symbol. Oh, yes. And that actually also historically, women would marry for status because they didn't have status on their own, right? So they had to basically marry someone with status to receive the husband's status, right? So there's also that wounding from being used for that, right? And also, like, in other ways, again, it could be any inferior group that marries up to receive higher status, right? It could be for money, it could be a different ethnic group that seems to be more privileged, and so on, right? And I was also shown like female disgust towards male macho behavior, but I would like to extend that out to general disgust towards sexist behavior and sexism, because again, it goes both ways. Then also cheating, being treated like a doormat, having one person act privileged or entitled, and the sense of entitlement to trample on someone else's rights or take them even away. And we can see that all throughout history, right? Where some people lost their rights or had less rights so that others could be elevated. So rather than trying to elevate themselves through virtue and healing and being a good person, people used power and control to put others down to elevate themselves, but they weren't really elevating themselves. They were just putting everyone else down so that they seemed higher. Then, wait, let me see what else. Also, this whole toxic dynamic of one person being the male protector, historically speaking, right? But again, there could be other dynamics involved, but like historically speaking, the men were the protectors of the women, just like a parent would protect their child. But that could easily be abused by then not respecting the women's wishes and opinions, robbing them of their voice, and not respecting them as equals, right? Same as children didn't have equal rights before, and now they do. Now we respect everyone, right? But we all, as the human collective, had to evolve to a certain point to realize that, right? So all of that toxicity, all that trauma, all that wounding needs to be healed. And what popped into my mind earlier was a situation from when I was a teenager. I had a friend, or more like an acquaintance, when we were on vacation. There was a girl in the hotel, and she went on a date with a guy who asked her out, who had a fancy car. And she really went on the date because she felt, or I think she felt, that, you know, teenagers should date, and she couldn't really say no, and he was asking her, and maybe she also felt flattered that he was wooing her. Well, he tried kissing her and like started like touching her, and she didn't feel comfortable with that. I don't think he went any further from what I remember. This was a long time ago. But I'm pretty sure she made it clear to him that she was not okay with it. So he dropped her off. And after he dropped her off at the hotel, she literally vomited. That is how much disgust she had inside of herself from that situation, right? So she had her boundaries violated. She did not feel comfortable. And I feel that represents a lot of that toxic dynamic that was playing out a lot, especially historically, that we need to heal from, and that many of us, even unknowingly, have received and had our ancestors pass down to us through the bloodline, through the DNA, even if we didn't go through it directly ourselves, but we may carry some of that within us anyhow. So tonight is the intention of healing all of that. And the spirits already know that since they sent me the guidance. So if I forget all the wording exactly as I just explained it, that's okay, because they know. But what was really cool too, so there were some food donations again today. And this was the first thing that really stood out to me. This is, I think, a prickly cucumber. I have to Google it again. Actually, it could be a prickly other type of vegetable. I'm not sure. I have to cut it open later and check it out and Google it and stuff. But prickly, and it's phallus shaped. So like prickly love, like not truly caring divine love, but the toxic devil energies, basically, right? And this one, I'm 99% certain, is lovage. Sorry, it's a little wilted already. But it smells like muggy seasoning, and I'm really quite certain that it's lovage. But anyhow, it shall represent that in case it isn't. But again, I'm quite certain, just because of the smell. So love and prickly, right? So prickly love. So that shall represent that. And what I have been feeling the last few days is heavy energies, like dark, heavy energies. So I'm going to use the hoisin sauce. I mixed a little bit of soy sauce in there because it was actually so thick. I've had it for a long time. It was too thick. I wouldn't be able to actually squeeze it out there. And the mustard for those toxic, nauseous, nauseating, hateful kind of energies. And the dish, what also came to mind was especially the one ex that I feel has been doing the black magic towards me. He could really dish it out. And I mean, there were others, including my brother and so on. And I'm sure you all, or most of you, know what I'm talking about. You probably all have similar examples in either in exes or family members where, especially when they're really wounded, they can dish it out, but they can't receive even the tiniest proportion, even the tiniest dosage of their own medicine in return, even just to teach them hey, look, this is what you're doing. This is wrong. And I did actually try that with my ex, and he was completely appalled. And he's like, I never treated you that way, and got very angry. But I, in that situation, had actually done the exact same thing to him that he had done to me before and said, see, this is what you did. How does it feel? And he still wasn't getting it, right? So some people really lack self-awareness massively. And that is often also a defense mechanism when people are so wounded they can't actually face themselves, right? So those of us who are on the healing path, we got to heal as much as we can for ourselves, and indirectly through our healing. A lot of those people that are or were attached to us are also going to get some healing from that. Even if we fully disconnected from them, at least the karmic bond is done. So that in itself also helps them on their own healing journey, right? Okay, I think that's it for all the prep talk. I want to actually use this improvised and MacGyvered rattle. So this is like a mini tomato can of tomato paste, where I actually put sand inside, and it's very soft and gentle. Like it's an even softer sound than this rattle. So I feel like we need to bring in that gentleness, right? So I can do it like this or like that. We'll see. Yeah, so that's it for tonight. So let's smudge and properly get started. Sorry, I'm wiggling around a little bit here. Oh, and also just on my way home, what came to me too was almost like a wave of anger of like, no means no. I said no, right? So that not having our voice heard or respected. Okay, please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and reconnect us to the divinity within us and all around us. And burn away and transmute any and all energies that aren't of the divine, pure love light energy. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Okay, dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions. I'm used to these this way. I should actually put it this way again, sorry. Powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. I'm so used to setting it up facing a different direction. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to actually tone down the smudge because it's coming right at me. So that's good. Thank you, our spirit guides, and especially our ancestors. Yes, thank you for helping us so strongly heal from these toxic patterns that have been passed down from generation to generation, where there was a lot of abuse and misunderstanding and miscommunication between the genders, in couples, in marriages, where there was a lot of gender roles and attached sexist behavior because of being put in a box, put in a category, and putting the other in a category and a box, and not also, thank you, also feeling forced to fulfill a certain role that is not necessarily who we are or who we were or who our ancestors were, but being forced into a certain role because there was no freedom to truly be ourselves. And what just came to mind too is that anyone who belongs to the LGBTQ community, there was of course a lot of, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, of course, there was tons and tons of discrimination in the past, if not even persecution, right? It was a taboo, so a lot of that had to be in secret, so people could not be themselves, right? So that was another part of that in some cases played into the toxicity of relationships. Some may have married for convenience, and everyone involved would have suffered, right? And also people, let's say if a man felt much more feminine in some aspects or a woman felt much more masculine and in some aspects, it was hard to fully live that and, let's say, choose a job or career that was more suitable but to the person, to the character, but wasn't acceptable in society. So what I'm thinking about here is, for example, male nurses weren't really heard of until the late 20th century, I believe, right? Or I'm quite certain after World War II. I mean, don't quote me completely on it, but that is a much more recent thing, right? That men would actually be nurses, right? Or women being in a trade job, like doing construction or woodworking or whatever, right? Electrical work and so on. That was just not really done. Mind you, some women may have had some skills. Like, for example, my grandmother was very handy and she could fix a lot of things around the house to a certain degree. My grandfather actually wasn't very practical, but there was still sort of a limitation in a sense, and she would have never done any of that outside the house, right? So that was just limited to like personal use. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting carried away again. It's like sometimes when I get these feeds of like thoughts that I'm being fed, then I gotta kind of mention that. So let all of us heal from all these toxic, sexist categories, discrimination, and any and all connected and related hurt, pain, suffering, trauma, abuse, CPTSD, if it's like long-term abuse in a relationship. Help us heal from all the anger, hate, resentment, blame, guilt, shame, jealousy, embarrassment, and any and all other dark, negative, and toxic emotions that go along with being forced into a role, not being able to fully be ourselves, not being able to recognize fully for who we are, not being respected as an equal, being treated less than, being or having someone act entitled or privileged, and feeling used as a trophy or status symbol, or just being treated like a doormat. Help us heal from all of that and squeeze all these toxic emotions. Whoa, see how that actually, wow, the liquid already separated in there. That's weird. I've never had mustard do that. Squeeze all that toxic stuff out of us, out of our body, mind, spirit, soul, energy field, karmically, emotionally, energetically. I may be repeating myself. And help us heal throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. Let all those toxic emotions be pulled and squeezed out of us and released back into the light, to be transmuted into pure divine love light energy. Oh, and I'm burping right now. That's actually also very telling. And send those energies back to source for reintegration. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh, and there comes an energy shiver. Oh yeah. And let all the darkness and heaviness and the burdens that we felt weighed down by, and some of the depression that went along with the sexism and being forced into a role that wasn't us, or that we didn't feel comfortable with. And what popped into my mind just now too is, for example, women in Afghanistan and Iran in like the last 20, 30, maybe 40 years. Sorry, I'm not rock solid on politics, but they have had a very restricted life. And I was told that a lot of them actually suffer from depression, right? Because they're not able to really be themselves and express themselves and have no freedom and so on, right? So all of that plays into this heaviness of imposed control over people in the name of gender roles, in the name of relationships, partnerships, spouses, like marriages, family life, and anything similar to that that falls into those categories where we do not have equal rights, we do not have respect, dignity, integrity, or have our voice heard or respected or accepted. But it feels like it's just had all that darkness. It feels very much like the devil energies. Let all that SHIT just come right out of us. And I feel like, yeah, this bottle has to be empty. Let all that stuff come out and be done. Oh, and what just popped into my mind too is like also forms of sexual abuse and rape and that kind of violence imposed on people, sometimes children, like for example in the residential schools that happened in North America. All that kind of stuff shall come out of us and be released into the fire, into the light, and be transmuted into pure divine love light energy, healed and transmuted, and returned to source energy for reintegration. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh, let us be filled and surrounded by this pure divine love light energy that is just enveloping us, that is cradling us, that is protecting us, shielding us, comforting us. It is all within us and around us. Feel the comfort of the divine within you, around you. Ah. All right, everyone. If you want to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. Thank you. For the rest of us, let the ceremony now be finished. And please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected, and accept our love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. And so it is. Oh, and I quickly wanted to mention I'm going to flush that stuff down the toilet now. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching, for being a part of the ceremony, and for working on your, and being, on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. Bye.